Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about interrogation and let's start with the definition.
Interrogation, this is a kind of questionnaire. When you got a subpoena, you will be called to some special place, and a special person will ask you very strictly, under the protocol, what was going on, where have you been, do you take part in some activities, and so on. And a lot of people are afraid of interrogations, and this is the reason why they are trying to avoid it, and maybe they will use some kind or tricks, or maybe they will even run out of it, and there would be some discipline fines for it.
And when it comes to the interrogation or a simple interview or a simple conversation, what are the difference here?
The difference is the way how you was invited to this meeting. If you have, for example, phone call, it would be like a conversation. If you have a paper, it could be like interview or interrogations. But if you are under suspect, it definitely would be interrogations. And if you have no lawyer, which could be consulting you by the phone, or you could make a photo of this document to show him, and he will some advices, you could step in a very bad position. It's very easy to ask you to come for conversation and suddenly switch it to interrogation, and you are already on the place. You will be given a piece of paper, and you will be asked to sign all statement you have done, and you could be even be locked in cage.
And in terms of the fundamentals of the skills, what are the main principles or maybe what are the main actors or other sites?
First, when it would be conversation or interviewing or interrogation, and this would be people with pagone,
Epaulets.
with epaulets, they know how to behave and what to do. They'll offer you a cup of tea or maybe a cigarette or some small talk about your life. They will support you in some small issues, and they will ask in some questions. They will use video recording or type recording, and they will follow by small steps. And this is like a go by a small island by the swamp. Nothing happen. Suddenly you will find yourself in the swamp full of crocodiles, and each question next would be more dangerous and more dangerous for you and for your freedom. And you should understand that there are no good conversation with people with the epaulets. They are very, very коварны.
Khan or something like this.
Okay.
So when it comes to different levels of doing their interrogation, and actually, if it's possible, it would be great to look into it from a different sides as well. Like, what are the levels of mastery in order from having a simple conversation that could be turned into interrogation, or something that has a is like a top notch when you really can ace all of the items from both sides.
First level of interrogation, when it goes very smoothly with smiles and you feel no fear. Second level, you will be pressed to answer the right things and to be more specific in all the details. And last, when you will be asked to make interrogation in front of other people, it's even has a special name, cross-check interrogation.
And when it comes to the mistakes, and I do believe there's like a lot of things that people might be doing wrong when they actually trying to not reveal themselves if they do have something, or even worse, like when they have nothing, but maybe the signals that the send actually tells that there is more. And maybe from the opposite sides, like when someone is revealing something that they know, but they reveal it too early or not supposed to do. So what are the mistakes when people make from the both sides?
First kind of mistakes is to believe that everything goes in your way. No, each time interrogator has his own path, his own traps, and his own way how to behave. And this is not about you. This is about the aim of his job. Second, some people are saying that I couldn't remember, I was not there, I was not involved. But they don't understand how many interrogation was before this small talk. Maybe they were asked in the last queue, and the interrogator knows so many things, small things, that he will show that all your thoughts, all your versions doubting in 100%. And the last one, no one understands that after interrogation you could be immediately put in handcuffs and even stand at the hall of court for very short period of time. So everyone is thinking, I will just go and I will chat with this pleasant man, but it couldn't be turned too bad.
So I guess it's all about the awareness of the situation and actually trying to see what exactly is going on and be able give a lot of thoughts into whatever you say, you do, the way your body language, being controlled and so on. But when it comes to the case when it's actually out of the jurisdiction, but let's say some sort of the interrogations in the corporate world, or maybe even the business, or maybe when it comes to the personal relationship, like whether those things are applicable or it's a different shape and form.
When you are going to interrogation, you immediately will understand that you are divided. You became a half man or half woman. Yes, you have rights, but not in this room. In this room, the severest rule is the law, and law is expecting you in something unpleasant. And if you will ask for a lawyer, or if you will remember some things from the movies, it will not work because you do not know the rule, do not know the law. And there is a saying which was in book, everyone should read criminal law before it will happen to be in your life.
So, and when it comes to interacting with the multiple people, so let's say, you might have a different interrogators or maybe have a different stages. What should be the behavior of the one person who wants to go smoothly through all of this process and make sure that whatever the defense is actually being done successfully?
First way is to ask for a lawyer, and it is better if it will be your lawyer, which is paid by you, and you know him or her well before this occasion. Second is to say sometimes, right now I couldn't remember, but I definitely will do it, and I will say you the answer, but a bit later. And the third thing is to know all the questions. So wait until all questions will be conducted, and then you will have a picture. Maybe it's not the whole picture, but you will understand what is going on and which road is used by the law enforcement.
And I do believe the way you said about the people, the quality of them is that there might be some sort of a tricky, meaning that at certain point of the stage, you actually might be facing some sort of the tricks. So let's say when the reality or the facts or the picture of the world might be blended or even bended for you in order to get the right information or in order to get the right behavior of yourself. So how should the one approach this, and like what should be the level of the critical thinking when trying to assess all of the facts that were given by the interrogator?
First, you shouldn't be aware of everything that was happening before this time. And second, you should understand that interrogator could use curve miracle. Mirror, how it works. For example, the interrogator knows something very small, and he will make a look like he knows everything, and you should be very careful about some things. But do not believe that you already was completely beaten. Раскусить?
Beaten also could be the way,
Okay.
or discovered.
Or discovered. So as usual, this is like a puzzle, and interrogator know like 5 or 10% of what was happening. And if you will be very helpful, you will help to this person to cover, I don't know, maybe additional 15 or 12 20% of this territory. So do not help. Do not give too many specific information. Do not give too many clues, because if, for example, there are like 10 person already involved in this episode, everyone would be interrogated for 2 or 3 times, and on each round, the interrogator will say, "Come on, I know this, and I know this," and everyone will give to this person small pieces of puzzle, and it would be more and more looking like it was real. So you should understand that some people could use some words against you. So you should not give new details, but you should protect yourself. This is your aim.
So there's actually one phrase, and I'll try to probably paraphrase it in a more funny way. You said that like the moment you standing in certain queue, that means you're already late for something. So the same thing here, like when you're already being interrogated, but you're not ready to actually take this, it means that you're late for the party. So probably you should be equipped with certain skills, and one of them would be knowing the law. But how about other aspects that you also should be aware of? And again, also remind one of the lessons that we got in the interrogation. You said like you should become like some sort of like a very boring person, like nothing goes it's like nothing interesting that could be extracted from you, or even the way you sit, or even the way you talk is also something that should be giving the signal, so there is nothing to expose. So what are the skills the one should possess in order to pass through it smoothly and without any big damage?
You already answered this question in a large part. First, you should be very boring and very slow. You should be the toughest person in this whole process. And when, for example, it comes for second calling to ask you to come again for another interrogation, second, third interrogation, interrogator should be hesitating up to the last. He has not to have a pleasant talk with you. It would be slow, and you should be able to sit and talk for 8 for 10 hours. And yes, for small time like 1 hour, 2 hours, even 4 hours, there is could be pressure put on you, but every 4 hours you have right to have rest, and this is a good news. Yes, 4 hours is too much, but it's your life. So if you want to be a free person after this interrogation, you should take this game very seriously.
Last question will be how knowing about the interrogation could help to make this world a better place.
From one point of view, interrogation is the bad things because you're suspected, and maybe you lose some aspects of your life, or maybe you would become compromised for your bosses, for your family. But from another way, this is a way of protection. You couldn't be kept without questioning, and if times come, you will be seated in some room in front of the person, and you will know answers or maybe some issues, maybe there would be some provocations, but in any case, you have the rights to protect yourself and to say everything you want, and do not say what you don't want. Second, if you know how to behave, you would not afraid of this person. Yes, they doing their job. Yes, sometimes they ask tough questions, but they are not trying to irrigate you, or they are not ignorant. They just trying to view for the situation from different angles, in case maybe you are not suspected, maybe you are innocent, maybe not, and they are just hesitating. So you should help them to understand what is your opinion about the situation. And last things, never run from interrogation. If you run, this will double your guilt.
Готовьте защищать себя заранее. А мы рассмотрели навык допрос и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира.